Ladies and gentlemen, poetry is about love. Poetry readings in particular are about love. So we are trying in this performance to harness the work of scientists in Harvard in America to make us, Michael O'Mahony, fall in love with you, the audience. Many of you will have on your seat a list of 36 questions, which were devised by top minds in the 90s, that by asking the question, answering, and then returning that question, we will fall in love. So what we will ask is for you, the audience, to ask us a question. We will answer it. We will then ask you the same question back. So do not ask a question that you are not prepared to answer. So, who's first?
What do you value most in a friendship?
I think probably friendship, I think it would probably be kindness. And I was thinking about that because I think I've got friends that are a lot sort of smarter than me, and sometimes I wish I was a bit smarter. But then if I thought about actually what I appreciate about them most is probably not their intellect, it's probably just their kindness, really. That would be my answer.
I'll quickly jump in, and for me it's very much about the willingness to go under and take weird risks and non-judgmental, I guess is the boring way to put it. And you, what do you value most in friendship?
Longevity.
Longevity. Okay.
Friendship as a commitment to another person and to forgiveness, because if you stay friends with someone for a long time, they have to forgive you because you're going to make mistakes, and you have to in turn choose to forgive them for their mistakes.
That's beautiful. Thank you, audience. Who's next?
Would you like to be? Oh. Would you like to be famous? In what way?
I would like to be famous. I would like to have already been famous. It feels like, if I'm honest, it feels like my natural inheritance, and it hasn't actually occurred. And why? I don't know.
Yeah, I'd be quite similar. I think I really did want to be famous quite a lot, particularly in my 20s, maybe as a famous musician or artist. But I feel like maybe the ego has sort of quietened down over time. I'm 40 now. But then sometimes I think it has sort of settled and I don't want to be famous anymore. But then sometimes it'll just kind of, that desire will flare up again, and I thought it's all settled, but it sort of comes back. So I'm not sure now, maybe on the fence about that.
Stephen, would you like to be famous, and why?
No.
Okay.
Because the scrutiny would turn things up.
Audience member in the white?
Thank you. What would constitute a perfect day for you both?
I will answer that by saying I have actually asked, independently of knowing this was on this question to many of my friends, and so the amount of interference in answering this for me is quite difficult to deal with, because so many of my friends have talked about their perfect days, going to a boulangerie in Paris, going to particular pubs, being in gardens. That my perfect day now seems to be an amalgam of theirs. So I'm not sure to what extent I can confidently answer that as a individual, but I suppose as Michael O'Mahony, maybe you can.
Yeah, I think I remember I had a perfect day, I think, in 2010, and I was actually a bit hungover, and I woke up in these studios that I was working at, and yeah, hungover, but I just felt this kind of sense of peace and calm, which maybe I didn't have that often, because I guess I'd studied this art degree, and I was always a bit sort of conflicted about whether I should have done that degree, and I was suffering a bit with the kind of choices that I was making. But just on this day, I think I'd done quite a lot of work towards an exhibition, and I think I just felt like I'd been productive and I'd done a good job. And this I just had this really peaceful but kind of hungover day, and I went and bought some picture frames for my show. And then I was just wondering if it was going to continue on and last, but it just kind of just went back to normal anxiety the next day. Yeah.
You?
So perfect day for me would be to go with close friends to watch the Icelandic sea eagles and the west fjords of Iceland, and in total solitude and sort of quietness.
Fantastic. That's gorgeous. Next. The lady in the back.
Do you have a secret hunch about how you will die?
We actually discussed this last night, and both of our hunches were that it might be some sort of consequence of lifestyle choices. Living as we do in the carcinogenosphere and avoiding as I don't carcinogens. However, things have changed recently in an important way within my life that has made me reevaluate the inevitability of that and my sense that actually my death is not in my control, but is within my sight.
So Michael, you've stopped smoking recently, and I meant to stop smoking when I was 40, but I haven't quite managed to do that. So I worry that might have something to do with it, but hopefully I'll follow you shortly.
Do you have a hunch about how you're going to die? You don't?
But I hope it's copacetic one.
You shouldn't have answered that. You shouldn't have asked that question. Okay. Who's next? Sarah?
When did you last sing to yourself and to someone else?
I last sang to myself walking here, and to someone else, I think it was to you a couple of days ago.
I can't remember to myself, but to other people, it was a 40th birthday party of some of my friends who were doing karaoke, and I think this is my first experience of karaoke. I really, really liked it, because I think just sort of singing all these songs from childhood, which at the time seemed a bit kind of corny, but then all of a sudden being there with all my 40-year-old friends, and some friends are a bit in trouble with their lives and stuff, and suddenly these kind of songs were imbued with this kind of poignance, which I wasn't there as a child, and I thought it was a really beautiful experience. But to myself, I can't remember actually.
You?
I think it was this morning. Singing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who's next? No? Nobody's next? Okay. Are we in love?
Yes.
Thank you.